Welcome to this special edition of the Green Wave Report from On SI Tulane. I'm Doug Joubert. Today, the third part of our wide-ranging interview with Tulane Athletic Director David Harris on the state of Tulane athletics. This four-part series that we've been doing focuses on the NIL and the possibility of a collective bargaining agreement with student athletes, the athletic programs that are successful at Tulane and those who have not quite yet hit the ceiling, athletic facilities and their future, and what Harris's vision is for Tulane athletics. The series runs on Mondays and Wednesdays at noon through this week. Part 1 focused on the Give Green campaign at Tulane, followed up by where Tulane in particular stands on NIL and where Harris thinks maybe things will go with the possible CBA for athletes. Part 2 had the Tulane AD comparing the Tulane programs that have been successful to those still striving for that more favorable outcome. Today, in Part 3, Harris gives us his take on where Tulane athletic facilities are now and where they can go in the future. So, can we talk about facility improvements?
Sure, okay. Absolutely.
The next season on the schedule, so to speak, is going to be football. Mm-hmm. What type of improvements can people expect at Yelman Stadium this fall?
So we're concentrating our efforts on trying to make improvements that we think will improve the fan experience for coming to our games. And we're not sure from a timing standpoint if things will be able to be done before the upcoming season or maybe just at the end of the season. But we're looking at a number of things, including like our premium seating options. So last year we did the Uptown Terrace. So we're looking at the possibility of whether we expand something like that. If we want to add another premium opportunity in the north end zone, something that's closer to field level, that's something that we'll consider as well. We're looking at doing, I wouldn't say there are improvements in the Glazer Club, but we're getting to a point where some of the elements of the Glazer Club, we can change out some furniture or replace some of the seating just to make sure that it continues to be the place that it has been since the facility opened, which is really the place to be on a game day for Tulane football. And so we want to keep it that way. We always get feedback about our sound system, and so the degree to which we can address that is something that we're considering as well. We have some issues with our video board, so we're looking at the appropriate way to be able to address that. And then big picture, we're looking at other premium seating opportunities, whether it is loge boxes or suites. Obviously not stuff that we can get done before the upcoming season, but big picture, we've done some work, some studies behind the scenes. Some of our fans and donors have gotten interviewed or gotten surveys where they've been asked about whether or not they support a certain type of premium seating option, because we want to make sure that whatever we build for the long term is in response to what our fans are really requesting. So we've been doing some of that work, and that won't happen, as I said, before the upcoming season, but certainly in the next few years, those are things that we want to address. So depending on how long things take, and you never know when it comes to something with facilities, how long it's going to take to do certain things. Those are some of the things within the stadium that we're looking at, whether it's for the upcoming season or for the next couple of years.
Fogleman Arena is one of the three oldest basketball arenas in the country. Mm-hmm. It's a gorgeous facility, but it is old. So is that a positive or a negative? And number one, and number two, what changes can people expect for Fogleman in the future?
Right. So I think from our standpoint, while it is an older arena, I think there's a ton of history within the arena, and I think it can be a positive for you if you can create the right type of environment for your teams. If the history of what has happened before lends to this type of environment where people enjoy and want to be a part of making the next round of history for the programs that compete there, then I think the facility can really create an environment where we feel like, hey, this is our arena, this is a place that's special to us, this is a place where we've had a lot of significant memories, and we want to continue to invest in keeping this facility as a part of what we do here at Tulane Athletics. At the same time, when it's an older facility, it doesn't have a lot of the modern amenities that people enjoy as well. We were talking about premium seating from a football standpoint. Football has some premium seating options. We need to be able to expand it, but they do have sun. You don't really have that at all from the standpoint of Fogleman. But at the same time, because it is an older arena, there are more restrictions, there are more limits, there are more things that you have to consider if you're going to be making investments in trying to modernize that arena. So those are conversations that we're having and will continue to be had behind the scenes. There are no immediate plans to be able to do anything along those lines in Fogleman, but we certainly recognize that if we can do things to improve the environment in that arena, then that's something that we want to at least look at.
Are there any immediate plans for next year? Improvements at all?
There are no immediate plans.
That's what I apologize. I didn't know. Now, Turchin, that really has become a jewel. Turin Stadium is an incredible place to watch a baseball game. There is already premium seating there. There's suites, etc., which you can never have at Fogleman in the way it's arranged right now. So, what are some of the things you see in the immediate future for Turin and in the future in long range?
Yeah, and some of those things, because you're right, Turin is of our facilities. When people come to our games, I'm not so sure that, at least from what I hear, that we don't get the most compliments about Turin, about watching games there, about the quality of the facility. And so it's really a fantastic facility to be able to come in and enjoy a baseball game. The improvements that we've been doing and have in mind really, in many cases, are focusing on the student athletes and the student athlete experience. So for instance, we're going to be doing some work on the hitting facility, the Hack Shack, to make it a better facility for those student athletes. In the future, is there a possibility that we can take the bullpen area, out of the playing area and be able to relocate it to a different area so that we can avoid safety issues? Now, there's nothing on the docket for that right now, but just as you're talking and looking at needs that the stadium may have, that's one that can jump out at you right away, is how can you address that? And so there's some things that we've done behind the scenes, renovations to the wet locker room area, and other things that Coach Ullman has identified to us that we want to continue to address. We've talked about how we can take one of our locker rooms and turn it into a locker room where our professional baseball players who've come through Tulane can come back and use, and it's been renovated to recognize their contributions and their achievements, and it becomes a place that they can really call home. So there's some things that are happening behind the scenes that really focus more so on the student athlete experience when it comes to things that we're looking at doing in Turin.
You have two specific facilities, and I apologize for not mentioning this, but I would like to, if you don't mind, and that's the Goldring Tennis Center and the indoor practice facility, which sorry, it's been nicknamed the Bubble with the people.
Sure. Yep.
and it's those are two that have literally come online within the last few months. That was part of what you have been trying to develop, and actually started before you got here. You said, but you finished off. You were able to go ahead and put those in service right now. How does that feel to get that kind of thing accomplished? It's like, I'm not trying to get you to pat yourself on the back, but darn it, pat yourself on the back.
It feels great, but I really want to pat our staff on the back, because there are a lot of people that work together to help even one of those facilities happen, much less two. And so we have campus partners, people that work in athletics, people that work with the companies and agencies that we work with to get the facilities done. Everyone has to come together to get those facilities done. And so when you can get to a point where you get to the end of the road and you're able to open it up, even though there's still some finishing touches that we're looking at doing, when you can get to a point where your student athletes are able to use it, it always feels good. It feels like you're keeping your promise, so to speak, to try to give your student athletes an opportunity to have success by investing in the program in a way that will make a difference for them. And so I think that's probably what feels the best about it for me, is that you hear the public push about doing certain facilities and why this facility is important to keep this coach, and why this facility is important in order to have success, and why if you want to do certain things that is an athletics department, you have to have this facility or that facility, all of which you hear and all of which have a certain level of importance. But day to day, when you look at the young men and young women who get to use the facility, that's what really strikes you as being, hey, this is why we're doing this, because there was a need here and we were able to address it. And now those student athletes and that team are in a position to be more competitive and to have a better experience based on this facility now being in existence. And that's what reminds you of why you do this type of work.
This Wednesday, the final segment of our exclusive interview with Tulane AD David Harris will focus on his vision for Tulane athletics. In this reporter's opinion, his answer is one that should make any Green Wave fan sit up and notice. That's this Wednesday at noon. In the meantime, please join us for our regular edition of the Green Wave Report this afternoon at 4 p.m. when we report on Tulane baseball, the basketball transfer portal, and the similarities of what we hear from Gainesville and what still echoes in Uptown. Until 4 o'clock today, I'm Doug Joubert.